Being great at sales is essential to your business and your career, but you and I both know that the stress of selling and dealing with constant rejection can be an emotional drain. My entire brand, No BS Selling, is based on the belief that professional sales is a skill and not a personality, and that to be better at sales takes constant refinement and a dedication to your craft. This show is for salespeople and entrepreneurs who are committed to improving their sales skills and getting better results, and are sick and tired of the BS game that often happens between buyers and sellers. Welcome to the No BS Sales Podcast, and I'm your host, Walker McKay. I'll help you and your sales team make selling easier, feel less cheesy, and be more lucrative. It's time to change the rules and level the playing field between you and the people you sell to. You're already good, let's be better.
I want you to listen to this podcast episode today because I just got off a phone call, sales call, somebody who reached out to me a couple weeks ago. We had our appointment today, and I ended up telling him I didn't want to work with him. I shouldn't work with him. And I want to tell you why. So this guy calls me. He's in his 30s. He's very competitive. He has done a lot of really, really cool things, and he works in corporate America in sales. He's in Virginia. And I said, what are you hoping we could talk about today? What are you hoping that I could help you with? And he says, well, I think I just need more confidence. And I said, confidence to do what? And he said, well, you know, I go on sales calls and I just don't feel confident that I know my product enough. I don't feel confident that I can really carry a conversation. I said, okay, well, have you ever had trouble carrying conversations before? And he said, no, not really. And I said, how about when you were growing up? Did you ever have any trouble talking to adults? He said, no, not really. I said, okay. I said, so these conversations, why are you nervous about them? He said, well, because I don't have enough knowledge about the product that I sell. I said, how long have you been in this business? He said, 5 years. I said, what have you tried to do to kind of compensate for not having enough knowledge? He goes, oh, I always take somebody else with me on the sales call. I said, 5 years? He said, yeah. He goes, there's always an expert around I can take with me, and they do most of the talking. I said, how's that working for you? He said, fine. And he said, I'm at this new company, and I just take another salesman with me. Actually, he's not a salesman. He's an expert, and he doesn't charge me. He doesn't take a part of my commission to take him. So why would I not? I said, I don't know. Why would you not? He said, I can't really think of a reason. I said, suppose I did. Would you want to hear it? He goes, yeah. I said, you're being a candy ass. He said, what do you mean? And I said, the only way you're going to get better at this is to put yourself in situations where you can fail, where you don't know. And by the way, saying I don't know is not a flaw. It's a gift. Being able to say I don't know is a gift. I don't think you believe me there. Then I also said, by the way, all this, I said, what are you trying to do to learn more about your business so that you don't feel so awkward about it? And he said, well, I'm reading some books and I go to webinars and that kind of stuff. I said, how many webinars you been to? He said, 10. I said, how many books you read? 5. And you still don't know enough to have a conversation about it after 5 years. He said, I'm just not comfortable. I don't want to look like a dumbass. I said, well, we talked about it for a while. And I said, Bo, what are you really afraid of? Because it can't just be that you don't know how to talk about your product. What are you really deeply afraid of? Because there's something, I can hear it in your voice. He couldn't think of anything. So he pressed on. And then he said, I've got some side projects I'm working on too. I said, like what? He said, well, I've got this concept for a clothing line, and I have a book that I'm working on, and I have 2 other things that he's working on. I said, when do you have time to work on those? He goes, oh, every night when I come home, I'll work on them. And weekends, I probably spend 5-10 hours working on them. And when he began to tell me about those side projects, I was talking to a whole different person. He didn't really stammer anymore. He wasn't nervous anymore. So I asked him, I said, what's the difference about you talking about those projects versus your job? He said, I'm excited about the projects. I'm just not comfortable in my job. I said, you're two completely different people when you're having those two different conversations. One of you is confident and excited and passionate, and the other one is a freaking nervous wreck. 5 years in the damn business, and you're nervous to even talk to me, and you're nervous to talk to your prospects about because you don't know everything? So what the fuck are you doing? I really made him nervous then. He said, what do you mean? I said, why have you not gone after these other things? He said, well, I'm working on them. I said, yeah, but you fucking hate your current job. He goes, I don't really hate it. He goes, I make good money. I make $100,000 a year doing this. I said, so what? I said, do you have any savings? He said, yeah. I said, suppose I gave you $1 million and said, spend this to live and work on those, quit your job and quit these 4 and just work on your projects. Would you take it? And would you work on your project? He goes, hell yeah, I would. First time I heard him cuss the whole time. Hell yeah, I would. Okay. I said, you got some savings? I said, yep. Your wife work? Yep. Got any kids? Nope. I said, if you go to your wife and tell her you want to go after this, what do you think she'll say? He said, I don't know. We've been married 4 or 5 months. And I said, so did your wife marry the guy who's talking about insurance right now? Or did she marry the guy who's passionate about the projects he's working on? He said, definitely the working on the projects guy. I said, look, I don't recommend my career path. It's too hard. But if there's no great time to go out and work on your projects. There's no great time to leave corporate America to go do that. I said, do you think if any one of those 4 hits, you'll make money? He goes, oh yeah. Any one of the 4, if they hit, I could be made. And I said, how long would it take you if you were working full time at them to flush them out and see if any of them are going to work? He goes, year tops. I said, then why the fuck are you sticking around where you are? I said, who is it that expects you to be an insurance person? Your wife doesn't care. He said, no, she doesn't. I said, who? He goes, my dad. I said, okay. I said, he's still paying your rent, your mortgage? Nope. When's the last time he did? 9 years ago. Okay. I said, you think he'll still invite you to Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas if you're not in the insurance business anymore? He goes, yeah, probably. I said, your dad a corporate guy? Nope, he runs his own company. I said, why do you think why do you think he'd want you to be in corporate when he's running his own company? He said, probably because dad knows how hard it is and doesn't want me to struggle like that. I said, are you as tough as your dad? He goes, oh yeah. I said, why do you think you're not as good? So we had this conversation. And he said, I said, don't hire me. I said, you don't need my help. I said, you need to grab yourself. Grab yourself. And I said, every day that goes by, you're getting a day older. Every day that goes by, you're getting further and further along to being committed to what you're doing. And I said, it will be just as, I said, your projects won't be done. You'll never be able to get them done if you're not committed. It's funny, I pulled up his LinkedIn profile while we were talking. He hadn't even changed the job, his job title. Hadn't changed to his new company he's worked with for the last 6 months. Hadn't put his name on his LinkedIn profile. That's how you can see commitment, right? He hadn't even done that. It reminded me of a time when I moved into working for, left one company working for another, and I never hung my pictures on the wall of the next company. Never hung my pictures on the wall. Never took time to do that. My boss would ask me, hey, when you hang your pictures? Oh, I'm too busy. Got too much shit going on. Reality was I was about to quit. I lasted that job about 12 months. I left to go work for myself. I don't know anybody who's ever regretted leaving corporate America or a corporate job to go work for themselves. I don't know anybody that's ever regretted it. I've had moments of regret, kind of short term, not regret, but it sure was easier. But I wouldn't trade anything for what I'm doing now. And my guess is if that guy has the stones, he'll feel the same way. I don't know if he'll leave or not. Tell him if he did, he'd come be on my podcast. There's an incentive, right? I want him to talk about his experience. I hope he has the courage to do that. If he doesn't, it's okay. I think a lot of people live their lives, their business in freaking quiet, shitty desperation because they're too chicken shit, or they've gone too far down the road. They're too much in debt. They've got too much to lose. They feel like some of y'all know this. When I quit my job, making plenty of money, I had a mortgage that was $6,000 a month, 2 kids in private school, wife that working some little job. And I quit. I'm not saying that was wise, but it's what I had to do. Ended up selling my house that I built and designed and loved. It's perfect. Sold it to somebody else, moved to a rental house. Why would I do that instead of going to get another corporate job? Because I was committed and I didn't want to go work for anybody else ever again, and I knew that. I guess the message of this whole thing is whatever it is you're doing, be committed to it. Be committed, be all in. That's what makes all the difference. That makes the difference between success and failures. Are you all in? By the way, sold that house, 3,500 square feet, moved into a 1,700 square foot rental house, lived there for 3 years. Still live there right now. But I've been saving because I was committed, because I was all in to buy a house. And we put a contract on a house to buy 3 weeks ago. And I'm going to move into that house in November, right? And the next thing I'm committed to is my wife be able to stop working or not to have to work. Make that happen. If there's something in your head, if there's a passion that you want to go follow, if there's a business idea out there you say, I really would rather work for myself, I'm committed to do that. Love to talk to you about it. Love to talk to you about it on this podcast. Run your own business, working for yourself, leaving the big, comfy, cushy job is probably not for everybody. But for those of us that have left, and those of us that have done something different, I would think probably 100% of us would say there's no fucking way we'd ever go back again to work for somebody else. If anyone wants to talk to me about that, I'd be honored to talk to you. It's fun to talk to people that have big dreams, that commit to their big dreams. Your job doesn't have to be your end all be all. You don't have to love what you do, but why you do it, you have to be committed to. Right? Why you do it. Maybe that's so you can live in a nice house and take vacations. That's awesome. Maybe so you can send your kids to private school and have a beautiful home and do all these other things. And that's great. I love that. Did the same thing. Trying to do the same thing now, but with my own. We all make our own decisions. I think sometimes this chase your dream shit can be a complete waste. But if you know that you're unhappy where you are, and you know it's not where you're supposed to be, then quit making that excuse, quit making yourself miserable, and get the fuck out of there and go somewhere else. Be that, start your own company, be that go work for somebody else. Just know there's no place is perfect. Even here at No BS Sales, it's not perfect. It's pretty damn good, but it's not perfect. I've got a newsletter. Comes out once a week. Oh, first of all, I forgot to tell you this for a while. Subscribe to my podcast. Smash subscribe. Share this with people who need to hear it. I've got a newsletter that comes out once or twice a week, typically twice, this week once. Sign up for it. Go to my website, walkermckay.com, click on newsletter, sign up. It's good shit in there. Links to podcasts, stuff I'm reading, books I recommend, video I put out. You get that for everybody else. You'll also learn about different projects, different things we're working on here, different opportunities you might have to be better, to get better. If you're inspired by this or it's something stuck out to you, email me. I've loved getting emails from you folks. Love getting emails from you. Tell me what you learned, what you've seen, what you've heard. If you know somebody needs to hear this, forward it to them. Thank you, No BS Sales Team. Couldn't do it without you. Appreciate you very much.